Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samaa News. Here are today's headlines. Iranian authorities have warned that they can intensify their response to the largest anti-government protests in years, as the Revolutionary Guards accused terrorist groups of exploiting unrest and vowed to protect the Islamic system at all costs. Fresh demonstrations have been reported across Tehran and multiple cities, including Tabriz, Rasht, Shiraz and Kerman, though an internet blackout limited independent verification. State media said public buildings were set ablaze and security personnel killed, while footage broadcast on state TV showed funerals for slain forces. Iran has warned the United States that it will retaliate against any attack. Iran's parliament speaker, Mohammad Bakir Kalibaf, said Tehran would strike back against Israel and U.S. military bases in the region if Washington launches any military action. The warning comes as Israel remains on high alert amid concerns of a possible U.S. intervention linked to ongoing nationwide protests in Iran. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has spoken by phone with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, according to a U.S. official. Axios reports the call focused on Gaza, developments in Syria, and the ongoing protests in Iran. Dar Global and the Trump Organization have announced plans for major luxury developments in Saudi Arabia. Dar Global's chief executive, Ziad El-Char, said the company will launch 2 Trump-branded projects in Riyadh and Jeddah, with a combined value of $10 billion. In Riyadh, the developments will include a Trump National Golf Course and a Trump International Hotel in Diriyah, a large-scale project on the western edge of the capital. In Jeddah, plans include mixed-use office and residential properties under the name Trump Plaza. Germany's finance minister says international law applies to all countries, including the United States. The finance minister and vice-chancellor Lars Klingbeil was responding to US President Donald Trump's comments about seizing Greenland. Klingbeil said decisions about Greenland's future rest solely with Denmark and Greenland, stressing that territorial sovereignty and integrity must be respected. He made the remarks ahead of his departure to Washington for a meeting of finance ministers from the Group of 7 economies. Israel has been placed on high alert amid concerns over a possible US intervention in Iran. According to Israeli sources, the alert comes as Iranian authorities face their largest anti-government protests in years. US President Donald Trump has repeatedly warned Iran's leadership against using force on demonstrators and said the United States stands ready to help. The final Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces fighters have withdrawn from the city of Aleppo under a ceasefire agreement, ending a Kurdish military presence in parts of the city held since Syria's war erupted in 2011. SDF commander Mazlum Abdi said the withdrawal followed an internationally mediated deal that secured a ceasefire and the evacuation of civilians and fighters from the Ashrafiyah and Sheikh Maqsood neighbourhoods to northern and eastern Syria. Greenland's parliament is moving up a key meeting to discuss how to respond to US threats regarding the Arctic island. In a joint statement, leaders of all 5 political parties in the Greenlandic Assembly said the meeting would be brought forward to address the situation. US President Donald Trump has said the United States must own Greenland, arguing it is necessary to prevent Russia or China from gaining control of the strategically located, resource-rich territory. Greenland is an autonomous region within the Kingdom of Denmark. US President Donald Trump has met with executives from some of the world's largest oil companies at the White House to discuss Venezuela, saying he wants them to invest $100 billion in the country to vastly expand its production. Trump has named oil as the priority for his strategy for the South American nation, after US forces seized its leader, Nicolás Maduro. Trump said at the opening of the meeting that American companies will have the opportunity to rebuild Venezuela's rotting floating energy infrastructure and eventually increase oil production to levels never ever seen before. US President Donald Trump is calling for a one-year cap on credit card interest rates at 10%. Trump said the cap would take effect starting January 20th, though he did not explain how the measure would be implemented or how companies would be required to comply. Trump had made a similar pledge during the 2024 election campaign, which he went on to win. At the time, analysts said such a move would likely require approval from Congress. Turkey is pushing to join a mutual defense agreement between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, a move that could significantly alter security dynamics across the Middle East and South Asia. According to Bloomberg, Turkey is seeking entry into the defense pact signed last September between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. The discussions have reached an advanced stage, and a deal is considered very likely. The agreement states that any aggression against one member would be treated as an attack on all, closely mirroring NATO's Article 5, of which Turkey is a member. That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samaa.tv. Thank you for watching Samaa News.